Joseph Stalin didn't speak Russian early in his life, and Stalin wasn't even part of his name until a lot later. He was born in Gori, Georgia, which had been part of the Russian Empire for about 70 years, but everybody still spoke Georgian. Georgian is not related to Russian like at all. So at around 8 or 9 years old, he learned Russian as a second language at a church school. But the story doesn't end there because his Georgian origins affected his identity his entire life. Like sometimes I read about it and they talk about it like he was just from the Midwest and he moved to the East Coast. But there's definitely a lot more to it than that. He continued to speak Georgian his entire life, and in his teenage years, he even wrote Georgian poetry under the pseudonym Soselo, or maybe Soselo, I'm not sure about the stress on that one. And then even in his revolutionary years, he went by the name Koba, which is kind of like a Georgian version of Robin Hood. It also made me wonder if that name's the inspiration for this revolutionary character in Planet of the Apes. Anyway, Koba was a Georgian name, and it's the name that Lenin knew him by, for instance. His original family name or like last name was Jugashvili, which he dropped later in his life as he became more of a proponent of Russification. Basically, that shvili suffix is kind of like the EZ suffix in Spanish last names. Like if you were a Mexican American trying to downplay your Hispanic heritage, you wouldn't really want to go by your last name Rodriguez. And so later in his life, to kind of replace it, he took the pseudonym Stalin. It means something like steel guy or man of steel, and I believe it was also chosen because it kind of sounds like Lenin. So you might be thinking that when he went full Russian mode, he kind of dropped his Georgian identity, but it's not that simple. For one thing, at the beginning of the video, I was mentioning that Georgian and Russian are not really related at all. Georgian is a Kartvelian language, unlike Russian, which is a Slavic Indo-European language. The point being that learning Russian was a pretty big linguistic jump, and he never really got rid of his accent for the rest of his life. So like completely outright lying about his origins was not really an option. Mostly what he did was either suppress or emphasize his origins depending on whether it benefited him or not. So for instance, if he was talking about nationalization or Russification, he'd probably put some more effort into trying to hide his accent. But if he wanted to be more like a man of the people with humble origins, he'd maybe lean into his Georgian identity.